Hi, my name is Lynn Meiser. I'm a tax manager here at Barnes Denning, and I'm with Paula Hume, a tax director at Barnes Denning. What are the tax-exempt filing requirements?
Exempt organizations are required to file the Form 990 series, and there are 3 returns that can be filed based off of an exempt organization's gross receipts. So a small exempt organization can file a Form 990N, and when I say small, it's gross receipts under $50,000. The next level of filing is a 990EZ, and that will be for exempt organizations that have gross income from $50,000 to $200,000, but will have assets under $500,000. And the next filing requirement, which is the more complex filing requirement, is the Form 990 itself, and that will be for exempt organizations that have over $200,000 in gross receipts or $500,000 in assets.
And what are the due dates for the Form 990?
The tax deadline for Form 990 is the 15th day of the 5th month, which for calendar year organizations, that will be May 15th. If you have a fiscal year end, then you would follow that 15th day of the 5th month.
And for exempt organizations, are there state filing requirements?
There are state filing requirements, and unfortunately, every state is different. So you'd first want to start off with what state you're organized in and find out what the filing requirement is for that state. If you step within a state, your employees or perhaps a contractor, you'd want to check the state filing requirements. Most states have a filing requirement with their attorney general, and then also they might have a Secretary of State filing requirement, but that would be more of a legal formation requirement. And so I will caveat to say, check with the states that you're operating within.
Sounds like it could be overwhelming for some tax-exempt organizations.
It can be very overwhelming. The other item that happens with states is a solicitation as well, which can get a little hairy when you're dealing with the World Wide Web. Solicitation could happen by just having a website, and having a donate here button can cause you to have a filing requirement in a state based off of solicitation. And so those can get very complicated.
So would you consider the Form 990 and the state filings a difficult returns to file for organizations?
I would say they're very complex. The IRS also instituted a mandatory electronic filing requirement for them, which then causes most exempt organizations to have to use a formal tax preparer to prepare their 990. So it's complex in the activity or the transactions that the exempt organization does on a daily basis, perhaps an annual basis. So the 990 is 12 pages with an additional possible 15 schedules that could get added on. And so that makes the reporting very complex.
What are some of the other unique items with the Form 990?
The 990 series is very unique in that it's open for public inspection. And so every 990 for the past 3 years that an organization files is out on the internet, either at GuideStar, sometimes you can find it on the IRS's website. And so anything that's on that form is open for the public to see. So you really want to make it a storybook for your organization to kind of give the general public the great accomplishments that it has achieved during the year. You can use it on page 2 to show any programs and their accomplishments, either by numbers or by language. You want to coincide that information with what is on your website. Perhaps if you issue an annual report, you'd want all of those figures and the language to coincide. Other things that you can do is tell the financial story. You know, you do have to put the revenues and the expenses on it, and so a general reader can get a financial feel for what the organization has accomplished during the year.
You use the phrase open for public inspection. So what does that mean? What is available for the public? What else is available for the public to see from the Form 990 and with that form?
Every exempt organization has to provide a Form 990 for the prior 3 years to the general public. Most will disclose that either on their website, or you can also provide a copy of the form to GuideStars. Those would be indicated as provided by the organization versus provided to GuideStar by the IRS. Also, if an exempt organization has to file a Form 990T, that would be required to be provided to anyone who asked outside of the organization. And then also the application for exemption, the Form 1023, would need to be provided to anyone outside of the organization if the 1023 was filed after August of 2006. And so all of those forms are important and critical for an exempt organization to have when requested.
You mentioned the 990T. Can you explain a little bit more what this form is used for?
So a 990T is filed for organizations that perhaps do some other activities besides what is related to their exempt purpose. And so an exempt organization doesn't pay tax on the income that is earned in providing or performing its mission. If income is earned outside of that, there could be unrelated business income tax that is assessed, and the 990T would be required to be filed if that organization had more than $1,000 in gross receipts from that activity. And so as organizations grow or come up with new ideas as a way to generate income, you need to be aware that there could be a 990T filing. That form is due the same time as the Form 990, the 15th day of the 5th month after. And currently right now you would pay 21% tax on any net income that would be reported to the Internal Revenue Service.
Does that form have to be electronically filed as well?
Yes, the entire 990 series needs to be electronically filed. So that would be Form 990, Form 990EZ, Form 990T, and 990PF.
Why is it important for the tax-exempt organization to file on time?
So the 990 series has hefty penalties that are associated with it if an exempt organization does not file on time. For the Form 990, it is $100 a day penalty assessed for late filing. And so those filing deadlines are super critical. If the organization is filing a Form 990EZ, it's a $10 a day assessment until the form is filed. So it's a critical factor in making sure that exempt organizations file their 990 on time.
What happens if a tax-exempt organization does not file their tax return?
The IRS will pull the exemption if an exempt organization does not file for 3 years. So smaller organizations can sometimes get into a bit of trouble as they're passing the torch to the next treasurer. They need to ensure that some filing has been done for the exempt organization. If they're under $50,000, that 990N is an online filing, super easy, 5 questions, and you can have your annual filing completed. So it's critical that they understand when the filing has been done.